the American people stand firm in the faith which has inspired this nation from the beginning. We believe that all men have a right to equal justice under law and equal opportunity to share in the common good. We believe that all men have the right to freedom of thought and expression. We believe that all men are created equal because they are created in the image of God. From this faith, we will not be moved.
Hello and welcome to the Freedom of Thought podcast. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Freedom of Thought is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. As well, unfortunately, at the time I'm recording this one, it's back in the quote-unquote studio. We can call it that, I guess. It's what I could call a studio. It's my home, basically. Yes, it's my apartment. So unfortunately, not a fire pit episode. It's raining. It's wet. So it is what it is. And also, I did work. I would have had a fire tonight and maybe did a fire pit episode, but maybe the quality of the show will be better for this one because there's a little extra oomph in this one. There's going to be a little extra spice, I think, this time around. Yeah. But also, again, yes, today I'm able to record. Even though I had to work today, I was able to get off at 6. It was like an odd schedule where you come in a little earlier and get off at 6. So I'll take it. That's good. So I can still do the show. Freedom of thought. I don't always necessarily have to record it on Saturday, but it just seems to be a good day for it of late. Okay, so a person, there was a time I once kind of respected. I once had a good feeling about him. And strangely enough, people like Joe Soucheray and his cohorts on the show, like, they're not bad guys or anything. They're conservative leaning and everything. But when they had Jesse Ventura on the show recently, they acted like he's the only voice of reason out there and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, are you guys crazy? The guy's a freaking Democrat. The guy's a freaking liberal. He's a flaming liberal. Everything about him screams liberal. All these years you think, oh, he's this independent and he's this independent thinker and he's in the middle. He's a centrist, and he's never been, ever. Just look at his voting record, or every time, it's just the public, word of mouth voting record. I'm voting for this person. Let's see, 2004, John Kerry, 2008, Obama, 12, Obama. You could go on forever. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. The guy's a Democrat. He's a flat-out Democrat, and he always has been. Or at least he's a left-leaning independent. Left-leaning independent at the very least. But he leans left. He's not in the middle. So we'll get that lie out of the way right now. Voice of reason. What, just crashing on Trump and crashing on ICE? That makes you a voice of reason somehow? Okay, I guess in your world. I don't know. I don't think that's a voice of reason, that you're just coming out and trashing and making divisive comments, quite frankly. You're just kind of riling people up. That's all you're really doing. And I think it's stupid. I think it's flat out stupid. He's always been pretty much a hippie. And again, hippies aren't centrist. They're left-leaning. They're liberal. In fact, oftentimes they're flaming liberal. So, the only stuff I might still respect about Jesse Ventura is the fact he was once a Navy SEAL. Wrestling world? It's junk. God bless wrestlers out there. Some of them are good conservative people. Obviously, Hulk Hogan, respect him, loved him. God rest his soul. It's terrible that he passed away recently. A good guy, a good guy who was one of the celebrity voices of conservatives out there, and we appreciate him very much. Jesse Ventura was never that, never going to be that. It's just what I started to despise about him and really started to, lose respect for him over the years was that again, he'd always come off like, oh, I'm in the middle and da-da-da-da-da. You can't vote either side. Like, but then again, he's a complete hypocrite and a liar when he comes up and says that, because he'd always end up voting Democrat. And then when it comes up, like, say, Trump, like way back before anybody really had any problem with Trump, Jesse Ventura used to be a regular on Alex Jones years ago, and Jesse would say, I can't vote for him. He's a Republican. And he literally said it with that tone of voice. He's a Republican. But then when it came to the John Kerrys of the world, he voted for him. He voted for John Kerry. He voted for Obama and others. He voted for like the Democrat governors when he was still in Minnesota, which I don't think he really is anymore. What did he go to Mexico or something? Well, good for you then. I mean, whatever. Always open borders. Always open borders. We're all just racist people here, I guess, if we don't have open borders. Okay. Ask just about every other country on the planet. They prefer to not be wide open. So what's the problem here? I just don't get it. So we automatically have to be wide open because of what reason? I just don't understand. I'll never understand. Does that make me a racist? Because if it does, then every gosh darn person on this planet is a racist then. You're literally calling the whole planet a racist, 100%, because, let's see, in Laos, Japan, wherever, Mexico, Russia, wherever it is. It's not open doors. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not open doors. It's not an open door policy at the border. That's a fact. So then the whole planet's racist then, I guess. Oh, darn, we're all just evil xenophobes. We hate everything outside of our group. Not really. In fact, oftentimes I think certain other groups out there that I won't mention are a lot more xenophobic than Americans could ever be. With even trying really hard, we could never be as xenophobic and as harsh as they are. And I will not mention any groups because there's just no reason to. But you can guess. They're out there. There's plenty out there, frankly. It's almost just about everybody else, honestly. Just about. At the end of the day. So, yes, Jesse Ventura made a complete fool of himself recently. But first, before I get into that, I'm gonna talk about my introduction to Jesse Ventura a little bit. You could say, back in the late '90s, I was, becoming a regular KFAN listener, and all of a sudden, there's this deep voice on the radio, and I'm like, huh. And he's this former wrestler, and it's Jesse Ventura. Oh, okay, Jesse Ventura. I think I've heard the name before, and he's got a show on KFAN all of a sudden. It's like it was his first show ever, and then it seemed, and then eventually it's like he was basically like not long after that he was going to run for governor, and then he had these cool sidekicks, PA and Dubé, who wound up being the host later when Jesse Ventura got elected governor, but. He sounded like somebody that had kind of common sense and was kind of likable and this and that. But as more and more you think that he had common sense and that he was probably like the right choice to be governor of Minnesota or whatever, as he was basically running for governor on his show most of the time, talking politics and bringing things up. He wasn't really bringing common sense to the picture. If anything, he was making me, the listener, more and more liberal the whole time. And I didn't really realize it until years later. I was almost becoming pro-choice. I was almost becoming like, yeah, let's legalize marijuana. Like, why not? Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Why is it illegal and this and that? Okay, decriminalizing it, maybe. That's as far as I'd go. Just decriminalizing it. Like, you don't have to be, like, basically locked up in prison for a decade or whatever. But at the same time, to have it literally everywhere all the time, I think society has gone down dramatically since then. And let me just say, a certain family member who delved into it many years ago has gone completely off the deep end with it the last, since it was legalized in Minnesota in, was it August 2023, completely off the deep end. And it's just sad. It's just sad. All it does is make people paranoid, lazy, and I don't know, in a lot of ways, freaking worthless as far as I'm concerned, because this person refuses to, they can't hold down a job anymore. They cannot. They don't even want to. They're not a parent at all. They're deliberately not a parent, and they don't care. And obviously I can't mention any names. It's just that this is going on daily. This is a daily thing, and it's a burden on everyone in the family that's a member of it. Now, this is not a direct family member, but a close family member, kind of, close enough, you know what I mean, where it affects their direct family heavily, like it really does. The kids are sad about it, basically, very sad. They're very hurt by it, that type of thing. And so, in a lot of ways, it's the Jesse Ventura types that I hold responsible in a lot of, partially, for pushing this for so long. Because there is nothing good about it, as far as I'm concerned. There really is nothing good about it, other than, okay, people don't need to serve 10 years in prison for marijuana possession. Okay, I get that. But that's just, that's about as far as I go at the end of the day. So there was that. Again, he was likable. He was interesting back in the day. And it sounded like a common sense guy. He also was like, all this insight, and then he had that conspiracy, what was it called? Conspiracy Theory. It was a pretty good show on True TV. Was it called True TV? It was once Core TV, and then it's True TV, and I guess Core TV's come back in a different channel. It's still True TV, which is mostly like reality TV junk. It's just meh. It doesn't interest me. But Conspiracy Theory was good. They got into HARP. They got into 9/11. A lot of that's interesting and all that. But then it's just, again, every single election. Don't tell us like you're this kind of centrist who's trying to, stop the government from running our lives and this and that when you're voting Democrat. Because basically every single election. And you're telling everybody you're telling everybody you're not for big government by being like libertarian or something, which would make some sense, when you're basically voting for bigger and bigger and bigger government every single election, because it's going to keep getting bigger when these people keep winning. That's basically all you're really truly accomplishing at the end of the day. When people like this get elected, it's just extremely disappointing. Okay, we're gonna expose all these conspiracies that took place. Not conspiracy theories, but conspiracies. We're gonna expose all of it. But then the same group of people you vote for laugh at you and laugh at it the whole time. They laugh at the conspiracy theories. And funny, no, he never talks about that stuff anymore. No, he doesn't, because he's one of them, frankly, as far as I'm concerned. You don't hear him talking about it anymore. He's just too busy ripping on Trump and conservatives. That's all he's really doing now. So, any respect I may have had left, which was very little, the last X amount of years, the last 15, 16 years or so, any respect I may have had left for Jesse Ventura is completely gone. When you hear this stupid idiot video, not the video isn't necessarily stupid, but what the stupid idiot says. Like he wrote a book called Lies and the Lying Liars That Tell Them, or the Bleep People Say. That's another book. Bleep, it was SH, People Say. Well, this is SH that Jesse Ventura said. Listen to this stuff.
I don't know about you, Paul, but I'm still not over January 6th.
Oh, get over it, you
was
moron.
Treason. All of the people should have been arrested and put in
like
prison,
the George Floyd riots?
Trump, because he and Giuliani
like Tim Walz
orchestrated
and
the
his
whole
wife?
thing. And he tried to violate the
Keith
Constitution,
Ellison?
win the election the way
How
he
many
did
times
with
did Ilhan Omar
violence and
cheat?
everything else. And now,
Frickin'
and I've
moron.
heard
I want to
this.
drop so many F-bombs.
All the people he pardoned for
Listen to this.
January 6th?
Listen to this moron.
I hear they're the most ones that are part of the ICE.
Where's your information on that? Where's your evidence?
The ICE people
Let's
now.
see some evidence,
They
Jesse.
did do the Capitol, and now they've turned them
Hey,
loose
Jesse.
on all our cities.
I think the pot's gotten to you.
Because isn't the behavior pretty much the same? What you saw
Jesse,
happen
you're a
on
moron.
January
You're a
6th?
frickin' idiot. Shut the hell up and get out of here.
Chat.
Just drop dead, shut up, and get out of my face. Shut up!
Thank you, Michael Savage. I couldn't have said it better. That's pretty much my thoughts right there in a nutshell. Shut up, drop dead, and get out of my face. Shut up, Jesse Ventura. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Embarrassing. Like, again, where do you come up with this stuff? So now the conspiracy is that people that were let off, that were pardoned or whatever, freed from prison for January 6th. He's still not over January 6th. Oh, my God. That's the ultimate Democrat talking point these days. They're still not over January 6th. When hardly anything happened. Hardly anything happened compared to George Floyd. Like, okay, I mean, you compare the two in a million years. You can't compare the two in a million years, man. It's like, where am I even going with this? Okay, so the conspiracy theory of it's one thing thinking that powerful people in governments locally or in the U.S. and worldwide would conspire to, including very wealthy people, conspire to blow up the trade centers, the Twin Towers, and then have them basically defraud the insurance company, rebuild them for free, billions of dollars right there, and also they can get more and more, so the big governments and everything can get more and more control over the population, ultimately leading closer and closer to a new world order. So, okay, so that's one conspiracy theory out there that I kind of agree with, actually. I kind of do. But now Jesse Ventura comes up with this conspiracy theory instead, that people that were let off from January 6th are the ICE agents today that are causing all this ruckus. Oh, they're causing all this ruckus and the horrible things going on. It's the same people and the same behavior. How so? It's just the strangest, but most bizarre thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, I might as well tell you that the George Floyd people are causing a ruckus everywhere too, because, well, actually, I would say that, yeah, they are Antifa. That was proven, and they even admitted it. So that's a little different. We're just some random people being let off from January 6th are now ICE agents. Like maybe one or two or something. Just random, like coincidence type of thing at most. That's about as far as I would go with that. Oh, now I'm going down a rabbit hole. Oh, now Jesse might be right. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Jesse, you're a moron. You're an idiot. Jesse Ventura is an absolute moron. He's a moron. He's a liar. And I think again, the weed is getting to him. And you know what? It's true. This is not me trying to be funny. Like I said, a certain family member, their behavior pattern is pretty much the same as what Jesse's doing here. Just coming up with random garbage and nonsense that doesn't make any sense. And that's pretty much what this person's doing. Also, once upon a time, not that long ago, this same person was what you would call a conservative Christian. Even though, yeah, they're trying to turn their life around from being worldly and being rough and out there and doing drugs and all that to becoming, they got saved, became a conservative Christian and everything. And now guess what they are? Absolute polar opposite. They're hanging out with some of the craziest people on earth right now that fit in perfectly in Minneapolis, the Minneapolis metro area. Perfect crowd. The perfect crowd for this part of the country. As those out there that live in other parts of the country that know all the crap that goes on around here, or at least heard about it off and on. It's sad. And I think that's exactly what's going on with Jesse Ventura. But again, also the fact he's never been a centrist. Sure as heck hasn't been conservative, but he's never been a centrist either. Like the second that anybody even brought an idea up about possibly having a new stadium built for the Twins or Vikings or whatever, he dismissed it right away. And which crowd usually dismisses that type of thing immediately, just, citing, oh, rich men, why are we helping them? The Democrats. So obviously some conservatives feel that way too, because they don't want to pay for anything, but it is what it is. I mean, I'd rather have sports here. Put it this way. I would rather a teeny tiny chunk of sales tax. We're talking like hardly anything. A teeny tiny chunk of sales tax goes towards sports stadiums and stuff that millions and a minimum hundreds of thousands to millions of people in this state can enjoy, versus going to people that don't go to work ever and have no plan to go to work, even though they could. They're ever capable of getting a job and working and making an honest living. I would rather a tiny scat of that goes to a stadium versus big chunks of like state taxes going to those bums that refuse to work. And to criminals like Ilhan Omar. And all the fraud that's been going on. It's not a coincidence that Ilhan Omar went from someone that was, I don't know, maybe had a few bucks put away to 30 million in just a few years. Clearly there's something funny going on. The Obamas of the world, the Clintons of the world, going from I don't know, probably less than $1 million or slightly over $1 million, maybe in the Clinton's case at one point, when they got started, to hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Yes. And Ilhan Omar, over $30 million for that person? Ilhan Omar? For that? How? $30 million to Ilhan Omar for doing what? What did she do to earn $30 million? What has she possibly done to earn it? Do you smell a rat? Because I certainly do. I certainly do. And all this, billions and billions of fraud, money like being lost literally in this state. You don't think a chunk of that 30 million came from that? Oh, maybe most of it. Maybe most of it. And other powerful figures here that probably have way more money than we would ever imagine for doing absolutely nothing good for this state. They're just stealing. They're just stealing. Robbing you blind. Keep working. It's like the T-shirt that was out there I used to see sometimes. Keep working. Millions of people on welfare are counting on you. And it's sad and disgusting, and it's true. Obviously, it's sarcastic. Keep working hard. Millions of people on welfare are counting on you. Isn't that messed up? It is. And I'm talking people that are ever capable of working a job. Otherwise you see people with missing ankles, like their foot is missing, the underneath their knee is missing, and they're still going to work every day. Still going to work every day, attempting to make an honest living. And some of them are actually doing a pretty good job. So, others, yeah, they're okay. They're adequate at best. But some, because they just can't be fast, or they can't be particularly spectacular at their job. Others, they're becoming leaders at work and such. It's just imagine that one versus somebody who's got, let's see, both feet, and both feet work really well. Both hands work very well. Both arms work very well. Both legs work very well. Let's see, they can they can put food in their mouth. They can eat it. They can drink water. Perfectly fine. They can even actually maybe even drive a car. Some of them, and bleep that. I'm not going to work. I just like the big overweight girl years ago. Basically, she was asked the question. She says, "I just don't want to work, and you can't force me." It's like, wow, wow. Well, welcome to planet Earth, sweetheart. I don't want to work either. I really don't. I hate it. In fact, and you know what? There's jobs out there that people love to do, and there's jobs that people hate, but they do it anyway because it's paying their bills right now. It's paying their bills, and they're hoping that someday, maybe they can turn that into retirement, one way or another. Possibly something better, like a better job can emerge, and they can apply for that. And, work towards it and this and that, and maybe move up in their current position to something better. Or moving up to something better. It's harder. It's a new challenge, but it's a lot harder. But it's a better career move and this and that. There is a lot of that everywhere. It's easy to hate your job, but you need to go to work. I'm sorry. If you're ever capable of doing it, you do. So supporting these people versus a stadium, biggest rabbit hole I've ever gone down maybe in the history of this show. Supporting people like that versus a baseball field or football field or basketball arena or whatever, hockey arena, or just renovations to it, where you'll probably not even hardly see the tax for like renovations to a hockey arena or something. Cry me a river, but it's okay to pay for people that just don't want to work because we can't force them. That kind of nonsense. It's just disgusting. Or thieves like Ilhan Omar and such. I continue to take and take and take and take. And frankly, I see Jesse Ventura as the same type of person. To me, he supports the garbage any day of the week before he'd support a Donald Trump. Final thoughts? Am I 100% pleased with this second term of Donald Trump? No. Were all of you 100% pleased with the second term of even a Ronald Reagan? Probably not. Heck, he had the huge stock market crash in 87, and then a lot of people blamed him for that and this and that because, he didn't give a bleep about the economy. It is what it is. You're not going to like everything about every president. You're not going to, even your favorite ones. You're sure as heck not going to. Sadly, that's why a lot of people thought H.W. Bush was going to be like a better version of Reagan. He's a stronger Christian in this, when it couldn't have been further from the truth. He was a complete piece of crap who was New World Order scum. That's what George H.W. Bush was and George W. Bush remains to be. He's just a nicer version of H.W. frankly. He's just nicer. He's more gentle. Basically, is what George W. Bush is. W. He's a little more gentle. He's got a better sense of humor and stuff. Yeah, isn't that wonderful? But yeah, there's that. To me, Jesse Ventura is another. He just fits right in with this scum lord garbage that's running this state right now, the state of Minnesota. And people like him and others need to just be pushed aside. Like, no more. We're done listening to you. Just shut up and get out of our face. Shut up and get out of our face. Seriously. And as they say in New York, the old people, the old timers in New York would say drop dead. They don't necessarily mean it literally, but figuratively. Drop dead. Drop dead. That's what they say, the old timers in New York. Yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying to, that's what I would say to Jesse Ventura right now. And others. Just why don't you drop dead? That type of thing. It's a New York thing. I don't mean it literally, okay? I'm not talking about wanting people to die, okay? It's a New Yorker thing. Listen to Michael Savage. You'll hear him say it, and you hear other old New Yorkers say stuff like that at times that grew up around that generation and even further back, I'm sure. With that said, and maybe the slightly younger ones too, slightly younger, like boomers. The Savage is actually slightly older than the boomers, if you can believe it. He would be silent gen, baby. So, with all of that said, gotta, boy, this country needs prayer in so many ways. The state needs prayer. Jesse Ventura needs prayer. I need to be better about that myself rather than screaming at him. But my frustrations are just boiling over with his nonsense and other people that just don't stop. It's not going to stop either without a miracle from God. It's so damn frustrating. Pardon my French. And all we can say is to keep praying, keep believing, and vote, dang it. Vote, doggone it. When it's time to vote, vote. Vote. It's not about Trump as much as it's getting the right people in office. It's not about who supports Trump as much as necessarily as getting, conservative Christians in office, conservative Christians' values in office. And if there's two Democrats, surely there's a better Democrat than the other. Of course, F.O.T and Jacob Fry, I guess it turns out they both suck, but I think Fry still, maybe, hopefully, is less of a fraud as Omar F.O.T would have been, potentially. It's frightening to think about just how much worse Omar F.O.T could have been when you think of how awful Jacob Fry truly is. Pure awfulness. Everything about him is awful. Heck, even, what did he, I forget, he even read something in Somali. I'm blanking on what it was. But it was just like his way of saying, welcome to Minnesota, basically in Somali. Some Somali language. And it's like, okay, that's nice. I mean, you might as well be Omar F.O.T then, I guess. I mean, whatever. What's the difference? So depends on what kind of policies you really want here. And I don't know. If people come here and they want to live an honest life, God bless them. God bless them, whether they're foreign or whatever, or they're just from another state, but are like foreigners. If they want to come and live an honest life, God bless them. And they want to be honest about coming here as well, God bless them. God bless them. And even, I'd love to see you make an honest living and make this country better. Make this country great, great again, that type of thing. So, which there are, thankfully, plenty of those as well. It's the ones that do not want to live honestly and want to cheat the system, cut corners. They're the ones that are ruining it for all of us and ruining it for other people that want to come. They're making the rules tougher. They're making it tougher and harder and stricter and all of that. So I can imagine they're annoyed with it. With that said, I was about to close earlier and then I just kept going. So I apologize. I hope you don't mind. It's not like this is a 3-hour episode or anything. About a half hour plus. With that said, so please do put a 5-star rating if you could on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anything out there. If you could write a review, it'd be greatly appreciated. It's been lonely and stupid for a very long time. But there was a very nice review not too long ago that I should read on the air. I believe it could be Mark Carlson, kind of like a revised review. I mean, a wonderful, wonderful one. May or may not be Mark Carlson, but either way, if it is, thank you. If it isn't, and it's someone else, Loadmaster 11, thank you so much. They say, You can hear the conservative thoughts from a real and honest host regarding politics and news. Freedom of Thought is truth-speaking podcast in an era of untrustworthy reporting by the established news media. You betcha. Joey has no agenda. No, his show often points out the hypocrisy of government representatives like Jesse Ventura, talk about hypocrisy, and the truth the mainstream news won't report. Yep, and it's like kind of like news commentary and such, and I really appreciate, people like Bob Bierman out there of Truth to Ponder. Like, he does a lot of that. He'll pass things on, and also, again, a very, very Christian vibe to the show and everything. He's a pastor too, so that's what makes his show so great. Honestly, it's sad that people out there want to just hear news only from him and stop with the Bible thumping. You're going to tell a pastor to stop with the Bible thumping? That doesn't make any sense either. That's kind of weird and stupid too. God bless Bob Bierman. Keep the Bible thumping and the news coming. Keep it both coming. 1 in a million chance Bob's listening, but it'd be great if he was. He's been moving around a lot and all that. I just want to wish him the best and, keep praying for him and all that. He's been recovering from bladder cancer. Keep him in your prayers when it comes to that. Emailed with him back and forth in the past, but not for a long, long time, unfortunately. We both had a conversation about that crazy Noah guy. It basically sounds like a miniature Antichrist, scariest stuff. But, Bob Bierman's a great person, so just want to give him a big shout-out on this show, if that's allowed. Obviously, big shout-out to Mark Carlson, Gerald String, Donna Aspinwall. Just God bless all of you. Thank you so much. And want to wish all of you a wonderful week. I hope you had a good Easter. And hopefully spring continues to sprung, so to speak. Maybe have a fire pit tomorrow in my world here, as it's maybe a little drier than today. Yes, this is the best time of year for that type of thing. So hope you like that and enjoy it. Enjoy the start of spring, as we're kind of hitting the real thing now. I think the threat of snow is finally over around these parts. So could be Iowa as well. I think the threat is over. But with all of that said, God bless all of you. And God bless the United States of America.